Hello everyone, this is the channel Artsy and welcome to today's 3 cheap, easy, simple ways of making 3 different kinds of prints. I've got my hair tied up and I've got my apron on, so let's just get started.
The first thing you will need is a surface to work on because printing is pretty messy. I've just got this Perspex sheet. Next you'll need a pen or a pencil. Then a piece of Perspex, which can be found online or perhaps in a picture frame, but just check it isn't glass, as I wouldn't recommend using that as the edges can be very sharp. Next you'll need smooth polystyrene, which you can find in in your supermarket pizza, or if you don't want an excuse to eat pizza, you can find smooth polystyrene online. Regular polystyrene can work, but you will have that textured effect that you might not desire. The next thing you'll need is paper. So get creative with this. Some of the prints look amazing on coloured paper. Also make sure that your paper is big enough for your pizza print. Next, I would highly recommend you purchase a lino roller for a smooth finish. If not, use a paintbrush or a sponge. In its place, just be aware that it may have brush strokes or a textured look on your finished piece. Next you want some leaves or string or something flat that will make some nice silhouettes. Next you will want some inspiration, which can be anything, but you'll be using like drawing skills. I've chosen like a book of palms and something to draw from. The next thing you'll need is lino ink, not acrylic. Because lino ink is thicker, it takes longer to dry. You will have longer to work with your piece. Acrylic is so fast drying that you may find it like start to stick to the paper and rip it, which I will show you imminently. But if you do get lino ink, it lasts a very long time and can be used for all 3 of these printing techniques and different kinds of techniques I haven't mentioned in the video. It does tend to cost more than regular acrylic paint, but it can be used for more than enough printing methods, so I would say it's worth the purchase. So for the first technique, which is kind of a monoprint, just take a small amount of lino ink and roller or paintbrush it onto your Perspex sheet. Place a sheet of paper on the top and start drawing out your design. The key with this technique is not to use too much ink and try not to put pressure onto the page surrounding, because it will pick up that ink. The page will end up picking up the ink where you've added most of the pressure, so I used a pen so that I could see what my design would look like on the front. The technique is great for a lovely grainy effect. Try it on different coloured sheets too. Once you've made your first print, you can create a second ghost print by placing another sheet directly on after the first. It will pick up less ink than the first and give you a different looking print that's kind of a little bit clearer sometimes. A good way to clean up the excess ink off the roller is to roll it onto another page, and I think it could be a good background for an art piece or maybe just a sketchbook page. The good thing about this printing style is it can be as detailed or as simplistic as you want it, but it will kind of add a photographic filter kind of look to your work. Method 2, polystyrene prints. So for this method, grab your polystyrene piece and use the smooth side and not the bobbly side, unless you want to try out something new, a different texture I guess. Anyway, you're going to want to use the smooth side for a smooth finish. So start drawing a design onto the polystyrene. A good tip would be to avoid dragging the pen, but redrawing over the lines you make so that you slowly score an impression into the polystyrene. This can take quite a long time, but it is well worth it because you get a much better print quality. Once you're finished drawing, put a small amount of Lino ink onto the Perspex sheet and roller it out, coating the roller wheel as evenly as possible. Then roller onto your polystyrene print. Keep adding ink from the Perspex sheet where you need it. When ready, and when the entire polystyrene sheet is covered in a nice thin coat of Lino ink, place your polystyrene print onto the sheet of paper, or place the paper on top, whatever's your preference, and press down or use a dry roller to add pressure. After that, peel the paper away. Go ahead and try it with other colours of paper. Just bear in mind that this piece of polystyrene will degrade the more prints you make. So sadly it can only make around 6 prints, but they look really good and it's a much cheaper alternative to using, say, Lino. Method 3, leaf printing. For this technique, take your Perspex plate again and cover it in a thin layer of Lino ink. Then get your leaves or whatever you like that is flat, so string or maybe pieces of paper cut up into shapes, and place them on top of the plate. After that, place another piece of paper over the top and rub your hands over it so you end up getting reverse silhouettes. A bonus using this print method is to use the ink coated leaves after you have taken them off the plate. Use a roller to get the remaining ink off of the leaves. Just remember the roller you've used and try not to get a dirty one like I have. Whoops. This way you get a lovely delicate print that shows all of the veins of the leaves. And finally, don't forget to get your ghost print. So to pick up the rest of the ink on the plate, just place another sheet of paper on top of it and then peel it off, and this way you get the veins of the leaves and the background all in one print. it produces 3 lovely varied prints using this leaf printing method. So that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed these 3 methods and we'll try a few out. I think they look pretty good and pretty professional for some things that are kind of, you know, cheap and simple to find. I would say in terms of printing they are slightly cheaper than the more sophisticated methods, but they're also very quick, which is great. If you see it as an investment for the future, I would say it's well worth getting some Lino Ink and some rollers, and perhaps, you know, spending the extra money. But you can always do these on the cheap as well, so using pizza boxes and things like that rather than buying your polystyrene. I'll leave a little shopping list below in the description box of the items I used so you can find them on the internet. But thanks very much for watching, I hope you have a great artsy day and I will see you in the next video. Bye!